Hi, my name's Chris and welcome to the Benchtop Micro Shop. Today I'm going to show you how I made this very simple chisel holder for my rolling tool wall. If you'd like to see how I made this, stick around. So the very first thing I did was lay out my chisels to see how much space I wanted in between them, and I decided on a scrap 2x4 as the holder. The next step was to simply lay out and mark all the chisels at the appropriate spacing. This allowed me to determine the overall length for the holder and cut it to length at the miter saw. Once I cut the block to length, I decided to rip it down to make it a little bit smaller and remove some of the mass of the holder. I also removed all the factory round over edges because I would add my own later to the finished product. Then I split the block in half using a rip cut on the table saw, and eventually I'll cut mortises on one half of one of these blocks and then glue it back together. This will make very nice holders, and they'll be custom sized to each chisel. Here I'm setting up to cut my mortises, and the most critical part of the setup is getting the blade height correct. You want it to match the width of the bevel of the chisel near the top so that the chisel will go down in and stop at a certain height. And then I simply just pass the blade or pass the block over the blade multiple times until I have my mortise cut to fit. And repeat this of course for each chisel size. Here I have all the mortises cut, and I decided to do a little test fit to see, make sure they stop at the appropriate depth. And these are a little bit loose, so I ended up deciding to rip the block down a little more narrowly. That way the chisel mortise would be a little bit more narrow, and the chisel would ride a little bit higher up in the block. From here on out, the rest of the project was very simple. It was simply a glue up, and then I came back before the glue had cured and cleaned up the squeeze with a chisel and a little piece of wood, and then gave everything a good sanding, rounded over all the edges, drilled some mounting holes with a counter bore so that my screws would go in and reach through to the wall, and then I gave it a nice dark stain to contrast with the tool wall. Last step was mounting the chisel holder. Here I just put some chisels in to see how far down they would sit. I want it near the bottom of the wall. I found 2x4 actually would hold it at the appropriate height. So there you go, folks. This project literally came out of the scrap bin. It looks pretty good, and it's serving a great purpose and keeping my chisels off the table and keeping them sharp. If you like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe down in the corner. I'm trying to grow this number to 1,000 before the end of July, so help me out by sharing this video, and thanks for watching.